I do want to get into some of the other headlines right now as superstar Lizzo being sued by former backup dancers who say they worked in awful conditions. The lawsuit reportedly filed by 3 women who say they danced for Lizzo and her tour company between 2021 and this spring. I do want to bring in their attorneys, Ron Zambrano, to talk a little bit more about the allegations here. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here.
Of course, thank you for having me.
Of course. So first off, I just want to go back to basics here. What exactly are your clients alleging happened?
Well, it's a pretty long complaint, but the short and sweet of it is this. They were hired by Lizzo to be dancers in her tour, both the domestic and international legs. And in the course of that, they were subjected to, through their captain, some very inappropriate comments about both religion and sexuality. Open pontification about, well, you should be a virgin. If you're not a virgin, you're a sinner. And then also what ends up happening through the next, in the next breath, she would talk about, oops, I had an oopsie. I masturbated last night constantly during these rehearsals. And then the other portion is during the international tour, Lizzo was finally invited these dancers to certain bars in the red light district, which is famous for its sexually explicit nature. What my clients were not expecting is to be in a bar where objects were in vaginas of women and being asked to touch the women, being asked to catch projectiles from the women's vaginas. It was very, very embarrassing for them. It was something they did not want to do and something they were pressured to do, not just because they were there, but because Lizzo was actively asking them to participate, doing, do it types of chants. Again, this is something that's totally inappropriate in the employer-employee context.
What exactly are your clients wanting? What are they asking for here?
So one is they want compensation for the emotional distress of what they went through, especially Ariana Davis, who was terminated soon after revealing that she was herself suffering from anxiety, depression, which was leading to an eating disorder. A lot of what the press is picking up on is how Lizzo specifically pointed out how Miss Davis was gaining weight, asked why she was doing that, which is shocking to everybody. That's why you shouldn't meet your heroes. But so that emotional distress, that invasion of privacy, and also being terminated for sharing your what here we use mental disability with a big D, basically your mental, something that's affecting you mentally, mental health issues that you shouldn't be fired for. So they're asking for emotional distress damages and also loss of earnings damages leading from the termination.
What made them want to come forward and hire an attorney and actually make this public and file a lawsuit?
That is the greatest question, I think, because what my clients want to do is to share their own story. These are girls that, or young ladies rather, that have a lot of followers on social media. A lot of followers noticed that they were no longer touring with Lizzo, and they were held back from saying anything. They were afraid, and through the forum, luckily through the California justice system, they could punch back and give their own narrative and tell the truth and be able to share exactly what happened, that things are not as they seem when it comes to working for Lizzo, that they can tell their story of what they suffered through, and that they're entitled to compensation because it's a violation of their rights.
All right. Thank you so much for taking the time to help kind of break all that down for us. Is there anything else that you want to add about all of this before I let you go?
Just the last thing is that you always be careful what you say to your employees. And if you have anything that happens, please make sure you have a voice. Call anybody. It doesn't have to be my office. Everybody has a voice if you feel something's happening, even if it's a superstar like Lizzo.
All right. Ron Zambrano, thank you so much for taking the time to be here.
Thank you for having me.